Hey guys, I'm SDN Wolf. Welcome back to Outpost 87. We are moving further into the Outpost. This is one of those deals where I think a lot of you have commented before, like, man, SDN, Wilderness Springs needs some verticality. Like, you need to go up, or like, everything is just on this big flat plane. And I was thinking this would be a good opportunity if we're, kind of following the, using Galaxy's Edge as pretty big inspiration for this build. Let's go lower. Let's design some verticality, but instead of going up and having the people traverse up, which I think maybe in this setting could look a little unnatural, let's lower the ground. Let's let them go deeper down into the land, into the outpost, and kind of explore down on a lower level, kind of like keep the main area up on this shelf. And then as they explore further into the land, let them go down and explore, kind of, not a major, like, sending them down into a cavern or, like a big canyon, but, like a subtle elevation change that I think that, J-Ash and Remnant are like famous for. They just do such an insanely interesting an incredible job. Like, go back and watch some of Remnant's Planet Zoo builds and you'll see what I'm talking about. Nothing very, very rarely stays on the same plane. And I think that's a good word for it. It's just, it adds so much interest to a build, visually appealing. And it's not like we're even talking like major scaling or it's just a subtle elevation change can flip up the whole look of an area. We're not even really talking about a bunch of major what's the word I'm thinking of, like force perspective, not even really having to do it, not really a lot of that. This is just a simple change that I think can change the whole story of your land. It can change the whole look and the feel of it. And I think that is kind of what I'm so happy with about this whole area. It's like, I was, after that first episode, I was like, okay, you almost don't want to go into rush mode. I was like, okay, let's hold up a little bit. Let's not rush this. Let's go. 'Cause I tell you guys that all the time, go back and see where you can add detail. And I was kind of rushing this a little bit before I had this idea to, there was some other stuff out here that I deleted before I had the idea to kind of bring it down a level. And I just, kind of had to catch myself not rushing this. Went back into the main area. We'll show you on the, in the real time, added some more detail. And that's kind of what I've been doing with this project. Just pumping the brakes a little bit, going back, seeing what I left open, what I left unfinished. My little goofball Poe says that a lot of times he thinks I get caught up in designing for screenshots. And, he's like, dude, that's why like a lot of your areas kind of, they have these big open unfinished spots, because he's like, you'll design for a screenshot and then you don't go back and finish kind of like the non-sexy parts, like you kind of design on an angle to get you this certain shot, and then everything else is kind of, left behind, and then you move on to the next screenshot. So I'm trying not to do that as much. I'm trying to, still get some good promo shots, because, that's just kind of the name of the game. If you're not going to put out a video every day, every other day, I like to, show off the progress, get your guys' feedback, Reddit, X, Instagram, whatever. Those are really good little mediaries of, giving you a heads up of what's going on when you can't put out a video every single day, or there's not enough time-lapse footage, or there's really not enough to show off a video. Even a rambler like me, you guys know I could ramble on for 20, 30 minutes. You still like to have something to show off. And, sometimes I will kind of design just to kind of give myself an idea and give you all an idea of where I'm at. But you know, the flip side of that is sometimes you do leave things kind of unfinished because you've kind of moved on to a new area. So that was kind of like this idea is slow down. Let's get this, let this get going, finish this right, this beginning area, and then slowly move on. And, you know, one thing that kind of ended up being with this central hub right here, this spire, ended up being so cool was on an older video. I don't know if John D might have commented on the video, the first video where we introduced you to Outpost 87. And he said, dude, you know what would be cool here? An arcade. Like Outpost 87 needs some kind of arcade. And the moment he said that, I flipped over to my other screen and started building this. So big shout out to Jonty, Geekism, for spurring this little kind of like arcade cantina type area. I just think it came out really, really cool. Fit this little kind of like looking over towards Hyperion, down, you know, kind of up on this upper shelf. I think it fits it perfect. And, you know, that's what's just so fun about this build. I added the little food court that's kind of connected to the arcade up here. I still want to do a full-on custom restaurant in the land, but as far as just quick service goes, right up here at this top level, connected to the arcade, I think it works perfect. And I don't know, I just, the sense of creative freedom that I'm having with this build, just with Outpost 87 in general, is like my bread and butter. Like, this is what SDan does best. And, you know, that's just the difference between a project like this and a project like Hidden Hollow. I just really feel like when I'm doing builds like this, like the cuffs are off. There is no budget. There's just like whatever that I think I can make look good, you know, through testing, just like getting ideas out of my head and into the 3D world, is just, this is just so much fun. And thank you guys for the reception of the, you know, first episode of Outpost 87, when we've really gotten in here for the first time in a couple months and really tackled the theme of this, which, you know, on the outset, I mean, I know we're really deep into it now, but this was pretty intimidating to start. You know, probably because I hyped it up so big. You know, we're gonna try like a Galaxy's Edge type of build. It was, you know, at first I was like, we're kind of deep into this now. I hope I can pull this off, or there's gonna be some disappointed people. But I still have, you know, a lot of ideas to go. You know, one thing I was in here messing around with, and we'll kind of, I guess we'll show you when we're in the real time. I don't know if I'm sold on a launch coaster yet, necessarily. I was kind of looking at it, and I did a little layout of one, and I'm like, I don't know if this looks right. I don't really know if I have enough room. So, may look at a different coaster type altogether before we settle on something back here. So, you know, we'll kind of look at that and just kind of weigh some of those different options. I wouldn't even mind like to put together like a Outpost 87 mystery mine type coaster, you know, like maybe have a tower that the coaster, you know, ascends up in, that like vertical lift hill that Mystery Mine in Dollywood is known for, and then have the drop come out into the land, you know, where they do that big turnaround. Very cool element on Mystery Mine. Look up some POVs of it if you haven't seen it. But I was thinking of maybe, yeah, doing like a Mystery Mine clone in Outpost 87. I think that could be a really cool kind of addition to the park over here. And, you know, not that I want to say that that launch coasters are kind of becoming cliche, but, you know, it's kind of like there's a lot of launch coasters out there. And there's just not a lot of mystery mines. And I think that could be really fun to try to emulate that ride within this land with the sci-fi spin on it, the kind of steampunk. I know, the only thing that you guys are you're probably thinking is we've went really light on the steampunk. We've almost did just a full-on sci-fi twist now, but I think we're still telling the story really good. I think the land is coming out really, really fun. I don't think we necessarily have to go back and lean on steampunk as hard as we originally thought we were going to. But this is absolutely my most favorite land in the park now. And that's the crazy thing about building for this thing is when you zoom out, like we just did a second ago, building this in the larger resort world, like you almost forget that this is in a massive theme park resort with all kinds of other lands and rides and resorts and hotel and pools, water park over on the other side of the road. That is just, that's what's so cool about this. It's like, for anybody that's new that maybe not have caught up with this is going to take a long time to explore. I don't know if somebody new will ever explore everything of the park. Like there's so many little weird nooks and crannies that, while you're flying around the park for 5-10 minutes, you may never even fully take in the whole park. That's kind of fun too, that it's just, there are so many different little angles to this park and little hideaways, and, it could take you, an hour just to explore the water park side of things. And that's kind of what we've left alone the longest. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of jump in here and show you guys the next little expansion of Outpost 87. And if you got a few minutes, let's jump into the real time and I'll show you how the land sits, as of Sunday. And we will jump in here and take a look. Let me know what you guys think. Hold on one sec. All right, guys. So here is, see what I'm talking about? Just having that shelf up there can just change the whole look of an area. And this is, I thought this was cool to have, bring in Captain Lockjaw, but have his statue up here like he's some kind of, outpost pirate captain. And this is his arcade. And I found some really cool, I think it's Josh. I found some really cool arcades on the workshop that I'm going to come in and really give the arcade a full interior and put his machines in there. But yeah, this just whole vibe coming down through here now. When Jonty said add an arcade, it just, doesn't it just fit perfect up through here? Got some little characters out here in the land. The only thing I don't like a lot of you said, I wish that the people in swimsuits would stay over on the water park side more. It's like they're exploring over here more than the actual theme park guests are. So I wish we could, I put like a changing room over here, thinking maybe some of them would go in it and get out of their bathing suits, but it's like they're going in and more of them are changing into bathing suits. So I might have to end up deleting that, but this is just so fun, guys. This whole Outpost 87 area, the way it's come together with these, especially with the peaks now, kind of come through here. One of you guys suggested to put some extra bracing under this large stretch of road. Still have the Hyperion back here. That was one thing that, when in kind of designing the arcade, I kept thinking, okay, we need to leave it out of the way enough to where, Hyperion can still be seen back there. And, I didn't want it to be really, really obstructed. And I think we still did that really, really cool. That tower just kind of sticks out just a little bit. Up on the flag here, I put some lettering in. I put the 87 lettering. And yeah, I've got some planters in over here, kind of coming towards Lockjaw's little area. And then, you know, I've got a little kind of like a cave over here. I think people will be able to walk through eventually. And I was saying that Mystery Mine Coaster can kind of use this whole area, and I kind of remove the mountain here that butts up against Bass Pro just to leave some more room over here for the coaster. And I removed the water ride just for now. I still think I want to do a water ride over here, but I kept looking at it and it kept, I don't know, just visually it was bugging me. I still want to do that idea, but I want to do it. I want to flesh it out more and, you know, just kind of, like I said, it was kind of over there in my peripheral vision while I was building, and I was like, I don't like to see that. I'm going to do that better. So I just deleted it. But I love this shot right here. Like if you were down here on the ground and, you know, people were up here just kind of watching. Brought in one of the spooky trees. I think it looks pretty good. Like almost if you wanted to have like a, you know, a creepy sci-fi Outpost look. And we'll put, you know, more planters and stuff down in here. Maybe do like a drink stand down in here. So we'll get that going. I took back the track of the tram for now, just because I kind of want to wait and see how I do the water area, and maybe I'll bring it along the outskirts of it instead of like cutting right through the middle. And then that way too, I can bring it over here and it'll stay out of the coaster's way. So yeah, that is kind of what we're thinking. Look at this back here, man. That is a cool land expansion, isn't it? You can almost see the peaks. Like, let's see if you come under Plastic Swan Station. Might have to do like an actual guest walk around here in a minute. There's Crockett's Breakfast Camp. Yeah, pretty cool. Hold on, let's see if I can get us down here and actually walk around a minute. Move my mic. Yeah, this is cool. Got the kind of like the rock overhang over that ride. I put in that like little passageway up there. Little alien guys up there. There goes the little trolley, which we will get people on eventually. You can come over here and get really close to the animatronics, watching them kind of work on their pod racer. That's like their little shop back there. It's got the little robot, little droid helping him. Little bathrooms right when you come in the land over there. And so see, you can either make your way kind of down towards Hyperion. Oh, that's a cool shot. Or over here to Captain's Arcade. I got to fix this wall, but you'll eventually be able to slip through, and it is connected to that food court from in here. I got to get that terrain pushed back, and like I said, we've got a bunch of arcades in the workshop now. Like I said, I think it's by Josh. We'll check before we get out of here. Make sure we give a proper shout out. And then over this way is going to be the land's like second kind of tier attraction. Will be that kind of like Aquatopia ride. And then you have just a set of stairs over here that takes you down to this lower level. But yeah, I think this could be cool. Some kind of mystery mine coaster. And I'm going to have some benches down in here. Maybe over here do some tables with some umbrellas. So if you know, like I say, you want to grab your food from the food court and then head down the stairs and come over here and eat in the shade. Still gotta design a station for Drew's trolley. But I think this is a cool little land. And also too, I gotta remember, like when I go to exit the land, making sure it looks just as cool when you're leaving as when you're coming in. You know, sometimes I'll forget that. I will, you know, I'll design, like we said, I'll design for that screenshot. And then, you know, when you go to actually leave the land, which this looks pretty cool. This is pretty believable, pretty cool. When you go to leave the land, you don't really see anything. Get up here and turn around a minute. Yeah, like see this. We need to get some planters and stuff out here though. This is a really, really wide open area. Need to get something going out here. But if you come over here, these little guys are working on this ship. And then just coming into this land is just crazy cool how scaled the rocks are and the peaks, and got some piping we put up to go underneath the tram line. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is what I'm thinking for this land. I think this is coming out very, very cool. Like we said, we kind of got to get in here and get us some rides going, but we'll figure it out. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. How do you think Outpost 87 is progressing? Got a little 87 up on that flag. So, you know, anybody that's new, the whole land, it's kind of like a Galaxy's Edge knockoff. It's Wilderness Springs, like spaceport outpost. So you've got, you know, humanoids, aliens, cyborgs, you know, droids. They all, they make a stop here to, like we said before, refuel, you know, get new provisions, repair their aircraft. You know, for entertainment, they come to the shows. And then, you know, we're going to have like a, kind of like a launch, like a landing pad over here where the ships come in and, you know, kind of dock when they come to the outpost. And then you as a guest are kind of coming in to explore what all's going on over here. So yeah, that's what we got going on, guys. And I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me for a little bit. As always, let me know what you think, and I will catch you in the next video. See you.